lust and greed, fame and fortune, be done with me. I'm way past ready. Show me a better kind of love. When I was little, couldn't wait to fly. A million miles later, I'm wondering why. You're my solid ground, and you show me a better kind of love. You show me, you show me, you show me, a better kind of love. Falling for lies, running from the truth. Oh, how you lifted me when I fell for you. 1,000 lifetimes could never.
Welcome back to my live stream, and yes, my name is Jimmy Cheng. I'm a professional photographer, filmmaker, and an Olympus ambassador. Yes, this Friday, last day of the week. Fantastic, feeling great, of course, and I may look a little bit tired because I worked until about 2 a.m. yesterday. I don't know why, but yes, because I couldn't really work during the day. My kids was really bombarding me left, right, and center. So the only time I can really work in quiet environment is evening when they go to bed. So good morning, Mark. Good morning, Brad. Yeah, welcome back to my live stream. And yes, we have a relaxed Friday discussion about a rumor that I recently read on the 4/3 rumor. So I might as well just talk about it and whether it's something that you might excite you. Okay, what it is then, if you haven't read it already, is Olympus drone. Drone, we're gonna make it big, make it big. Let's make it really big. Look at that, look at that. Oh gosh, right. Yes, Olympus drone. Believe me or not, well, this is the latest rumors been flying around. Apparently that the 4/3 rumor has spotted a patent being filed by Olympus and talking about some sort of a system with stabilizations operating with a unmanned aerial vehicle, so UAV. So wow, this is something rather exciting. Of course, you know, patent doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean that whether this is going to be a future product or not. But looks like that Olympus may be interested in droning, and whether it's going to be they making their own drone or whether they're going to be collaborating with another drone manufacturers, we have no idea at this moment in time, of course. And let me just show you that picture that you know, of course, patent picture doesn't really do many things. And let's see if I can get that thing out here again. And bear with me 1 second. Oh, it was gone somewhere. Yeah, I think it's this one. Let's see if it's this one. Yes, it is. Right. Okay. So apparently this is that photo here, and about, yeah, that system that they were talking about. And what what do you guys think about a potential Olympus drone, or at least, you know, some sort of a system that, you know, may work as a collaboration, simply because if you look at DJI, for instance, obviously they are the biggest drone manufacturers in the world, and they already owned Hasselblad, so they are using the Hasselblad brand for their latest Mavic Pro 2 drone. So this is something that you know, is kind of heading that way. And even, you know, we already know that smartphone people are using a big or traditional or well-known camera lens manufacturers or the brands as a collaborator, such, you know, like, you know, Leica is collaborating with Huawei in China, and then so is Nokia, and all the others are collaborating with Zeiss, for instance. And yeah, so that it wouldn't be a surprise if Olympus does decide to maybe open up another avenue to collaborate with someone. Either it's going to be smartphone or drone. Then we kind of talk about it one way or another, you know, in the last few days. And so this could be something to explore. By having spotted this pattern, and so this could signify something, could be of someone's interest in the near future, but of course we don't know. But what do you guys think about the whole droning thing, or in general a collaboration tactics, for the Olympus as well? But mind you, just before I go any further, let's talk a little bit about what's currently have at the moment from what the Micro Four Third can provide in the droning market. If you guys are not really into drones and things like that, and they actually do have a system, and I mean actually DJI do have a system that actually supports Micro Four Third lenses. Yes, because they do have a camera mounting system that allow you to mount lighter Micro Four Third mount lenses onto their bigger drones, the Inspire series. So these are, of course, they're not consumer level thing. They are multi-thousand pounds drones. You need two pilots to operate, one for the camera and one for the drone itself. So it's a very complicated but very professional setup. But you can utilize Micro Four Third lenses in that, and it does have a Micro Four Third sensor. So currently, I'm thinking you can get the drone fixed with the 17-1.8 Olympus or the 50mm f1.7 Panasonic Leica lens. Of course, there are some other lightweight small options from Laowa, which is also very popular among these professional drone users, such as the 7.5 f2 that I showed you before, and also the 9mm f2.8. So these kind of like size of lenses are being currently used in the Micro Four Third world. Anything bigger and heavier will not work in the system because the gimbal just cannot bear the weight. So this is something that could potentially be opened up. If they are going to deciding to use something, perhaps a smaller sensor, but a bit like a TG6 sensors, and make it like a Mavic 2 or Mavic Air type of drones with the cameras and stabilization system. Olympus is pretty good with their stabilization, so I would be interested to see like what sort of thing they can come up with, especially looking at these pictures here. It looks like some kind of flying saucer with a actually it looks more like a Star Trek's Enterprise, to be quite honest, and from a certain angle with their little tubes underneath. But anyway, what do you guys think about dronings? And Mark, I don't know whether I can be flying any legally, and I know a lot of countries now they really prohibit drones even for recreational purposes, especially in Canada. I think they basically say no droning whatsoever unless you've got a permission, got a permit and a license. So that's going to be really difficult for Canadian or any Canadian to actually fly anything in Canada. In the States, depending on states and areas. When I was in New York, I did take my drone, but I wasn't able to fly it. I know there are areas I can fly, and but there aren't many places, to be quite honest. And I know people still fly them illegally, but I see them time and time again on YouTube, and people still flying over Brooklyn Bridge and things like that. But the problem is, if you don't want to get caught and get fined, you better follow the rules. In London, it's a similar thing. There are not many places that you are allowed to fly because it's a very dense and populated city. But I also occasionally see people flying drones near Tower Bridge. You know how often I go to Tower Bridge to do my shoots, for people and things. I occasionally see people flying the Mavericks actually near the Tower Bridge area, which is supposedly prohibited and actually illegal to fly around there. But people do. What can I say? And it's really taking a chances. I love flying drones, to be honest. I do like flying them. It's something that I kind of enjoy having a different perspective, especially now I'm making a lot of short films and short movies, and it really does allow you to get the extra bits of value when you come to completing your masterpiece. Rather than shooting everything at ground level, if you have some sort of aerial shots, all you need is just a few seconds here and there. You don't need a lot, but it does add that little bit of a kick to it. At this moment in time, if you want to fly drones in the UK, I think you really have to get out of London and making sure you're not really near any airport that you can fly freely. You can still fly when you're not too close, but close to an airport no-fly zones, and you can notify the airport in advance and tell them that when and where you're gonna be flying your drone. You should be able to get permission for that particular slot that you've been allocated to. I've done that before with a venue, with wedding venues, and it's fairly straightforward. You just have to call up and do things, and not so sure about now. Of course, this everything kind of changed at the moment, but we shall see when things back to normal, whether the procedures and steps are still as easy as before. But having said that, if Olympus does decide to produce a camera drones, and I would be very happy to get one to see what it feels and looks like. Especially now, of course, I am Olympus guy, and it will be quite good to just tie everything in with the same brand, right? Rather than just always DJI. Like it's almost like it's like a default thing now. You just like if you want to look at something, you want to fly in there and capture photos and videos. It's always kind of like just DJI and DJI and DJI. I know there are others available, but most people would just go for the easy option. DJI seems to produce the whole range of stuff that suits every budget really, and so it's kind of like they're so established, and at this moment in time, they kind of no one can come close to them in terms of market dominance. But we shall see. Things could change. If Olympus does enter the drone market, that might change everything. You never know. They might conquer the drone world. Right, okay, Burana, hello, good afternoon, and welcome back. Yeah, let's see what Brad says. Drones are subject to the same CAA rules, and yep, it'd be fine if you've breached them. Absolutely, you have to really follow the rules, and I keep saying it to a lot of people. If you fly drones, making sure that you are adhere to all the guidelines and everything else, and of course. One thing about DJI is that they obviously they are the biggest in the world. They do try to manage the users by means of imposing restrictions in the software, like where I am at the moment. Yeah, and I live very close to I'm quite close to Woolwich areas, and also very close to the city airport. If you look into the map, yeah, I'm actually within the no-fly zone, so I can't even take off my drone, and I turn it on, but I can't fly at all, because this is what DJI does to all the users at the moment. For all the no-fly zones, they will have some sort of software inhibitor, so that it wouldn't allow you to do anything apart from just turning on the drone. And so this will apply to all the entire lineup, whether it's going to be Inspire, Mavic Air, Mavic Mini, or anything like that, apart from Tello. Tello is just a toy, so like you can't really fly that high anyway. But anyway, so that's something that they currently do. I think they're probably the only company that have that sort of restrictions. I know that the Parrot, which is another drone company based in France, and I actually used to like the product. They were actually the first drone I ever bought, which was the Bebop, the very first drone. They never had that type of software to restrict people to fly the drones, and I still have the Bebop 1. I still have it actually somewhere. It's a very nice lightweight drone, and but obviously these days, you have foldable drones and things like things have moved on quite a bit since. It's a lot easier to fly as well. In the old days, the sensors are not so good, so you have to be really focused. You really can't take your eye off from the drone. But now the latest Parrot Anafi, I think that's the latest drone, and it's quite good actually. It's almost as good as the DJI stuff with no restrictions. So if you want something that you can fly anywhere, that could be the option. But once again. You're not supposed to fly in no-fly zone, of course, and also like crowded areas, buildings, and all sorts of things. Yeah, bear that in mind. But if you want to have less restriction, so to speak, there are options out there, not just DJI. DJI have now becoming more and more of a corporate that have lots of rules attached to it, and well, rightly so, because they want to protect everybody. Because there are a lot of people who are simply being ignorant and. To other people's safety, like people just flying over a motorway, for instance, it's just really idiots. And it's because of these people constantly breaking the rules and causing accidents that making the rules so strict these days. And if everyone behaves themselves, we could have enjoyed a very good droning experience. And because I do really enjoy that. So, and Hart, hi, good morning. And hello, Jackie. Oh, you got quite a few people here today. Actually, that's cool. Hi, drone pilot needs licenses. Is it in your areas? I'm not entirely sure. In the UK at the moment, you can actually use it as a recreational tool or kind of toy-ish thing. So long that you don't fly too far, follow the CAA guidelines and things like that, you can do that. But you have to register your drone with the government. You'll be given a number, a registration number. You have to, similar to the US, you have to attach to the phone, so your controller and your drone itself, so that if your drone does crash or for some reasons they can identify you, so that you'll be responsible for it. Apart from that, we currently don't need licenses to operate a drone unless you are in a restricted area that you need to conduct commercial activities with the drone. Then you need to have a license. Other than that, you are pretty okay to fly, so long that you, like I mentioned, follow the CAA guidelines. Good morning, sir. How are you? How are you? Right. Didn't know that the restriction within software and Clever protects the company from potential lawsuits. Yeah, but I think they got to do that. In that, in fact, it started like about 4 or 5 years ago. Initially, it's still fairly relaxed. They will give you a warning, and DJI says when you open up the app, when you connect to the drone, it will give you a warning if you're in a restricted area. But you can still fly. You can still fly. But over the years, they tighten it bit by bit, and now I think as of last year, late last year, you can't even take off. And so like in areas such where I'm living, and I can't take off my drone. You know, during the lockdown period, yeah, there was no planes or nothing yet. I really wanted to fly up to see my area around here, but I couldn't even take off. So which is a shame, you know. And but I can understand from a safety point of view. And you know, I'm a very responsible drone flyer, so I don't like to cause any accidents or unnecessary damages to other people's properties. But I know there are people who are like that. I used to hear people flying drones around here, and as well. So I can understand that totally. So I don't blame them. I actually appreciate that. So now I'm actually doing my remote control car. If you follow my my Facebook profile, you see that I'm you know, rather than flying, I'm driving remotely. I mean, I still like my remote control stuff, whether it's going to be a truck, car, or a drone. This is kind of my hobby, you know. And I know photography is my kind of hobby profession, you know, but my hobby is also doing remote control stuff, and is something I quite like, just operating the little joystick, right? And okay, so what do you guys think about Olympus stuff? And you think that it's a possibility, you know, it's a possibility that they could potentially have a drone, or they simply just want to collaborate with other people, just like Hasselblad at the moment. They could be, you know, doing just for the lenses or the stabilization system alone, and let the flying experts do the design of the actual aircraft itself, or they just going to be invested in a whole new department to have an Olympus aerial department. Ooh, or maybe aerial imaging. That sounds really cool, doesn't it? It sounds really like majestic. I kind of like that. The royal aerial imagery division. Oh, that would be really, really cool. All right. Anyway, that's something that's quite fun of just dreaming about things like this. You know, like I mentioned, rumor is just a rumor. You know, and you don't have to trust everything. But like I mentioned, the fourth rumors did spotted the patent had just been recently filed by Olympus in Japan, and then detailing something about a drone with the camera attached to it. But similarly to iPhone, you know, like these, I actually don't understand yet how much time do these people actually have, you know, like every day just to trolling through the patent office in every country just to find out some leaks from companies, whether they're gonna have a new products coming up, whether they're gonna be looking at an idea of something bigger than or different to what they currently have. You know, how much time do these people actually have? You know, like do they actually get paid just to go into the patent office, just keep waiting, keep looking through everything, all the registration, and find things out? And I really don't know. You know, I'm actually very curious. Yeah, I do know. You know, there are patent solicitors in the UK at least. They actually do constantly reviewing the applications, and because they are representing clients, for instance, for certain patent applications, so they need to protect their clients' interests. So they're being paid constantly every day just to check on the register, to making sure that there's no other potential patent infringement to their client stuff. So this is something that I know they do as a solicitor, but I'm not entirely sure in the camera world, in the tech world, like, you know, forward rumors, you know, I doubted they have a solicitor just to, you know, to pay a solicitor because they could be expensive, right? I don't think they have an expert sitting there just to look for stuff. They purely probably just out of interest, just sitting there and waiting for something to happen. So, ooh, I get up this morning, 6 a.m. Let's see who just made an application and something really interesting. Could be Zeiss, could be Sony, could be Canon, could be Olympus, Panasonic, who knows? Someone, right? And really, I have absolutely no idea whether, well, you know, whether these people just have absolutely nothing else to do and they're just sitting there waiting for the screen to pop up. Oh, Olympus, a drone. Whoa. Yeah, that's beyond me. I have better things to do, to be quite honest. And Mark, you're saying if they are going to do a drone, why not an action cam? Well, that's an interesting question though, because they do have the TG series, and it's not quite an action cam. You know, action cam, you're talking about something like this, right? And you know, the DJI Action, Osmo Action, or the GoPro, something like these, and or the RX0, you know, from Sony. And these are action cams, yeah, and then they are cool. I mean, I do like to use these for B cams purposes because it's really tiny, right? I do like it. Like just look at how small this little guy is. And I can chuck it into like water and things like. Sometimes I do some B-rolls. Let's say I'm opening bags or making coffee, put it underneath the cup and things like that, just to show the action coming down. I think it's actually pretty fun. But you know, you have to imagine whether Olympus want to get into this market to kind of compete with the really established TG line, and they did experimented. I don't know if you remember a product from Olympus. It's almost like it looked like an action cam with a flip screen. I can't even remember what it's called now. It's usually called TG something as well. It comes in all sorts of color, orange, green, and black. They were selling for about 200-300 quid, I think, which is around about the same price as a traditional action cam. So it's almost like that, and it's built with an ultra wide. All sorts of stabilizations, and you can do 4K videos and underwater. Not like a TG, because TG is more like a point and shoot, and then kind of armorized, you know, just having a much thicker shell and shock resistant, and build the G-Shock around it, basically. So it's very, very different type of camera, and Olympus did try the action cam business, but it didn't really sell well. And in fact, that's why they only had one generation of that product, and it ceased production, I think, 2 years ago, and they were still selling it last year at the leftover stock, so they couldn't really sell. You know, that's probably why they're not doing the action cam business at this moment in time, because I think because they tried it and it didn't really work out for them, simply because the Osmo Actions and also Sony and GoPros already like kind of spread around and being used in a lot of cases. And so it's quite hard to carve into an established market. It's already got like 3 big players. You know, it could be a experiment that they were doing at a time, and just to see whether it will sell, but the result wasn't very positive. That's why they kind of given up for now. You never know, they might come back. I think if they kind of bring in 1-inch sensor action cam, that might be different. You know, we always, you know, that might happen. You never know. And perhaps there's a Mo in the patent office. Perhaps, but there are so many patent offices in the world, and I'm not entirely sure whether there will be, you know, enough resources. Maybe they do. They do have some sort of like maybe this is a secret network of this cam or even tech in general. You know, these people would have. They just a spy office for everybody, you know, in the tech world and camera world. Right, okay, Steph, and I kind of like this Friday talk. You know, Friday talk is always fun. It's relaxed, and I don't have to think about too much about talking rubbish. But anyway, I think if the Olympus does decide on the drone market, and I may be very interested, you know, just to see if they really do have a proper system set up. They can attach other micro four thirds lenses on it. That would be great, right? You know, I would be really curious to see that one day. But even if not, it's quite fun to dream about it. And I know at this moment in time, you can, like I mentioned earlier, you can attach to an Inspire drone, but that drone costs about like 4 grand in here, or 3-4 grand. So it's way above my budget to do something that is more like a hobby thing. And I do occasionally make money from it simply because I want to introduce into my film sequence, if I do filming and other projects. But the thing is, I don't operate the drone enough to justify spending 4 grand on a camera drone like that. So at this moment in time, that drone is still remaining in my distant dream, and also because it's so big, you do really need to have a license and also like proper training for it. Being a one-man operation on the Inspire is going to be really difficult if you want to get really something cinematics and stuff like that, because that drone needs a lot of experience, and also needs potentially you need 2 operators. Like I mentioned, you need one for the camera actions and one for the drone actions, and they have to be in sync. They need to know what they're doing. So that could be something to think about in the future. But at this moment in time, I'm quite happy with my Maverick stuff, and they're just small and light, and you can fold it, you can pack it up, to locations and just film, take off, and do something. I like it, but yeah, one day, if Olympus does bring out a interchangeable lens drone with a much lower consumer price, I'm all up for it. And okay, that's it for today's a little drone talk from Olympus. If you got any other information about this, I'll be happy to listen and maybe share it out to the world and see what happens. But for this moment in time, and I'm happy for everything that we're doing so far, all the Olympus cameras and lenses, and yeah, they are definitely doing well. I've mentioned so many times now, they are not going anywhere. So that's the Micro Four Thirds platform as a format, and it's not going anywhere. I know people are talking like right and center. I know a lot of the groups also talked about Micro Four Thirds is dead, or it's, come on, it's this. Well, okay, look at it that way. If that day does come, not just because I'm an Olympus ambassador, but what's the worst going to happen to a photographer? Nothing really. The camera probably still function for years afterward, and yeah, there may be lack of support and things like that, but there is other systems, so it's not really the end of the world by any means. But of course, I don't want that to happen, and then to be frank, I don't see that happening either, because the Micro Four Thirds world is such a well-supported and well-loved platform by so many photographers. It's those people who are kind of misinformed and miseducated, who always say something kind of silly just to generate clickbaits and interest from other people to talk about. So rather than focus on negativity, let's focus on the positivity, and let's go and enjoy shooting. So we've got a weekend ahead. Let's bring your camera out and do all sorts of live composite and live bulk. The sky is still rubbish in here in London, so I don't think I can do any starry sky stuff this weekend. If it does, I will try something, because I haven't done anything with the Starry Sky AF on the EM1 Mark III since I got it. So it's been a few months already. So I'm waiting to try that out to see whether the Starry Sky AF does work. But like I said, I live quite close to London, so there could be a little bit of a light pollution, and that may affect the final results, because to best experiment Starry Sky AF, you do need, I think it's my wife's phone, it's loud, very loud, and to best experience Starry Sky AF, you do need a very, very dark environment to do so. So at the moment, I think London just isn't dark enough for me to do that, and especially now it's coming close to summertime now, we don't get dark until, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Cool stuff. Okay, and Brian, I got a comment here. Just make a tiny camera like the one that put into your body to examine the inside of the body, but it might cost a lot. It is, seriously. If you talk about tiny cameras, yeah, and Buran is very, very absolutely correct, because Olympus actually makes a lot of medical equipment, and in fact, that's the main business of Olympus. So they have a lot of this endoscope that pokes straight into your bottom from behind to see your internals working. So they have high-tech equipment like that, or specialist equipment. So potentially, they can create a very tiny camera, maybe even smaller than this, and have some fun with it. But I don't know what you're going to use that tiny camera for, though. Spy stuff? That could be it. That could be it. Barana, you want to be a spy? You want to be an Olympus spy? Having a tiny camera? Venturing out and do something silly? Go to planetarium to try stuff. That may not be a bad idea, Mark. And I would inquire if any planetarium allow me to do that. I'm gonna try that. And I know in Hong Kong there's a planetarium in Hong Kong in near Tsim Sha Tsui area. It's really really fun. When I was a kid, I loved going there. And it was an experience just to have these 3D projections onto the dome itself. You can see all the like skies and things. And yeah, that could be something to experiment. And why we should stop giving the rumor air now and let's get on with photography. Yes, absolutely. Let's get on with photography. This is what that matters. And in fact, you got brilliant cameras and lenses. Why don't you just use it and produce some work that we can all appreciate? I think that's the message out there that I've been trying to promote since day one. It's not about your gear, not about things. It's about you creating something cool. And Olympus does a great job of giving you the opportunity and the features to do so as well. And so this is why I love Olympus, because they are such a great company, and cameras do give you a lot of really useful automatic features that give you more of a assistant to create something that previously you need specialist skills to do so. So this is something that I think is pretty awesome. And Brad, sorry, Mark, you should stop that now. Endoscope art filter. Oh God! How could you actually come up with this stuff? Endoscope art filter. This could be my next Wednesday's topic, you know, and for my live talk on YouTube. Endoscope live filter. Wouldn't that be something for doctors? Yeah. The doctor is trying to operate, and they're like, "Oh, let's put an art filter on to see what he looks like." Oh gosh, you are someone, man. You are someone, Mark. I can't believe you just said that. Endoscope art filter, guys. Can you see this? Endoscope live filter. Yeah, I'm gonna make it big. Mark, oh, you're a genius. You're a genius. Why can't you have an endoscope art filter? I'm gonna send this to Olympus. You know, like, can you make an endoscope with an art filter? Apply. You know, I want to see those images with art filters on. This guy. Oh gosh, man, this is ridiculous. Oh, brilliant. Right, okay, let's go back to normality now. And brother, I remember Olympus could make a capsule a camera. Did they make a capsule camera? In some, oh God, I'm crying, man. I had tears coming out. Oh man, endoscope art filter. This is something. You are the first one to mention that. You know, I'd. This is weird. This is weird. I'm going to send it to Olympus. Yeah, this is a joke. This is funny. Right, okay, guys, and it's 11:30, and I probably will end my my stream right now because I do have to finish. I still haven't finished Sunday's video, to be honest. I haven't finished filming, so I have to finish it, and hopefully you will like this Sunday's episode. It's going to be released at 12 p.m. if I can finish it in time. So bear with me if I'm a little bit late, but I'm hoping that I will be adhere to my schedule for the Sunday release. It's going to be something rather interesting. It's not camera related, or it's kind of camera related, but you shall see. I'm not going to leak too much information now, but if you subscribe to my channel, and if you haven't, please go to my Red 35 YouTube and subscribe, put up the bell notification so you know when that thing comes out. It's going to be fun-ish, hopefully. We shall see, and whether you would like to buy that either. So that will become something to look forward to, right? And then next week, of course, we have brand new topics every day between Monday to Friday, 11 to 11:30 on Facebook here, right here. My name Jimmy Cheng. You can search it quite easily on Facebook, and on also the YouTube channel would be the Red 35 Photography. If you have missed any previous live stream on Facebook, rather than scrolling through my timeline, and you can go to my archive in my personal YouTube page, which is actually in the description, so you can click on the link. You can actually see the archive there. which is in much higher quality, because the Facebook stream is what happened is after the streaming is completed, the playback is actually in very, very low resolution. So if you want the better quality to see everything that I show here, it's better to go to my archive to see it. But I'm giving you guys a heads up. So like my archive is about a week to a week and a half behind the live stream, because I want to keep the interest coming in here. So if you want to talk to me, see all the fresh stuff, you come to my Facebook and tune into my 11 o'clock stream. And all the archive stuff, it will be slowly populating in my YouTube page, and you will see them there in much higher quality there. So that will be it. But anyway, so have fun, guys. Have a nice weekend. Have a really lovely weekend. And I'm not sure what the weather is going to be like in your area, but whatever it is, enjoy yourself, be safe, and stay healthy. That's all I can say. And I'll see you all next week once again. So until next time, I shall see you all soon. Bye for now.